Hello, and we're going to try and make up for, once again, being beaten out of our class on Monday night. I'm going to be talking about the quiz that's still due for quiz number 5, which I didn't get to go over in class on Monday. So fortunately, it's just a short quiz. There's only 4 questions. We've got a little problem because the Chapter 17 is not in your textbook, so I'm going to give you as an attachment some PDFs for the pages that are relevant to the 2 out of the 4 quiz questions which are included in Chapter 17. But you do have 13, 15 in your textbook, and so I'm going to take the 4 quiz questions and I'm going to do some examples that I think will be helpful. So quiz question 1 is from chapter 13, quiz question 2 is from chapter 15, and 3 and 4 quiz questions are from chapter 17, which you don't have in your book, but you will in an attachment in Blackboard. So let me start with quiz question 1, which is chapter 13, problem 4, on page 430. So all you're being asked to do is figure out the break-even EBIT, and this is can also be seen. It's described on page 408, I believe. Yes, 408 break-even EBIT is example 13.1 in the textbook. So look at that illustration. But I'm going to go relatively fast because I'm going to get right to the point of this video. Now, what we're going to do instead of looking at the quiz question 4, which is the one that's assigned, I'm going to instead look at quiz question 6, which is right below that, which is almost identical, just different numbers and such in this word problem. So quiz question 6, there in the middle of the page, it says Passion Company is comparing 2 different capital structures. Plan 1 would result in 5,000 shares of stock and $120,000 in debt. Plan 2 would result in 7,000 shares of stock and $72,000 in debt. The interest rate on the debt is 10%. So the first question there is ignoring taxes. Compare both of these plans to an all-equity plan, assuming that EBIT will be 15,000. The all-equity plan would result in 10,000 shares of stock outstanding. Which of these 3 plans has the highest EPS? This is just like what the quiz question is. It's just different numbers. And I think we have only 2 and the one has 3, I think, or something. But it's very similar. So what we see then, I've got the data already on the board. What they're given here is 1, 2, and 3 is given to us 10% interest, $15,000 EBIT. Okay? So option 1, we have $120,000 debt with 10% interest, so that's $12,000 of interest, 5,000 shares for option 1, capital structure 1. Option 2, we have $72,000 in debt, 10% interest, $7,200 in interest. We have 7,000 shares. Whoops, I'm missing a 0. 7,000 shares. And option 3, all equity, no debt. We have 10,000 shares, and we'll all of them use $15,000 as EBIT. So looking at to try and figure out what's the earnings per share then. Earnings per share then for number 1 is $15,000 EBIT minus the interest, $12,000 gives us $3,000. Divide that by the number of shares for option 1 of 5,000 shares. 3,000 divided by 5,000 gives us, 5,000 divided by 3,000 is 0.60. 0.60 is the earnings per share. Number 2. Again, we're starting out, all of them have the same EBIT, $15,000 minus the interest of $7,200. Gives us $7,800 divided by the number of shares, 7,000 shares. So that gives us an earnings per share of 1.11 higher. Third option, we can skip the interest calculation. We just put the EBIT directly, 15,000 divided by the number of shares, 10,000 shares, equals, you can see, just do your calculator, don't even need the more sophisticated business functions. This is, any calculator can do this, 1.50. So our question is, in problem 6a, which of the three plans has the highest earnings per share? Well, the all equity plan has the highest earnings per share. Why? Because if it has the same EBIT, it does not have to subtract for interest. We could have done that just by eyeballing it to see that you've got something that doesn't have any interest expense. It's going to have higher EPS. But nonetheless, this form I've just shown you is exactly what you should do for the quiz question, which is number 4. You're just doing 4A. Ignore B and C. 4A, follow this model, and you shouldn't have any problem in finding the answer to that.